evening, and welcome back to my second stream for this good old month of May. But I've decided that today we're going to continue the Lego Cities tour because it's been a few weeks since I've done one. We have six of them left, and I want to try and finish by early summer. So today we're going to go to the land down under and do the only Lego architecture city set they released representing that part of the world, which is Sydney, famous for its opera house. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we will be building. So this is the Sydney, and I can actually blow it up a bit because it was tiny. So yeah, this is what the Sydney kit looks like. It's Australia's largest and most important city, but it's not the capital. That honor goes to another city called Canberra. But Sydney is definitely the biggest and most well-known city in Australia. So there's a picture of what Sydney looks like in the modern era. There's the famous opera house. And actually, the Disney Pixar movie Finding Nemo is set in the waters around Sydney. But they migrate to California for the sequel, Finding Dory. So anyways, here's the Sydney Opera House. It's probably the most well-known theater-style building in the world. It's definitely the most well-known theater in Australia, but probably one of the most well-known in the world. There's also the Harbour Bridge. Which is iconic. And something called Sydney Tower. Where's that on the model? Okay, so that'd be this big, tall one on the left. So the Sydney Tower, it's the tallest building in Sydney. All right, I see where it is. And Deutsche Bank building. That's an interestingly shaped building, but I like it. Deutsche Bank. Didn't we have one of their structures when we built Berlin? Maybe. Anyway, here's the foreign language bits. And then we get to... so this one's simple. It's just 4 landmarks. The Opera House, the Tower, the Bridge, and then Deutsche Bank. So let me switch back over to the studio and let's get started. Because of my time away from the house, it's actually been a couple weeks since I did Lego. I've really been missing it. And we are going to do some Star Wars Lego later this month as well for the Star Wars celebration on the channel. And we may even start getting into original creations, because I want to do something in Lego to commemorate Morrowind. But that's gonna have to be an original creation. So as always with these architecture sets, we start off with the fancy black base. And I may not talk too much as we go on, because I don't have too much to talk about tonight. So yeah, other than, Star Wars and Morrowind content is going to continue over the course of the next couple weeks. I'm probably going to do a stream tomorrow evening. I'm not sure whether it'll be Star Wars or Morrowind, but since we're doing a city today, the next one will probably be in a few weeks. So yeah. Definitely want to do some of the Star Wars Legos. I did a really cool set, but unfortunately it was off stream, so I guess I can't do. I guess I got to pick something else. We'll do the same thing in other cities, where when we finish a section, we'll go ahead and save. I want to save frequently because I got a weird error from the BIOS when starting my computer today. And if we crash, I want to make sure we don't lose too much. Alright, which blue does it want? Looks like it wants... I've never seen this shade of transparent. This might be fun in the render. That's pretty cool, actually. So the base is coming along quickly. Ooh, we have less than 100 pages of instructions left, and we're still doing the base. I have a feeling this is going to be a pretty quick-ish build. But last time I assumed that I was in for a couple hours. So I'm not going to make assumptions. The build will take as long as it takes. And that's all we're doing tonight. No doubles, no surprises at the end of stream. My sleep patterns are off and I want to go to bed early-ish tonight, so... And by, I know early-ish is relatively speaking, because it's already getting late and we're just starting. But compared to when I usually go to bed is what I meant. Sleep patterns have been off, and my ability to get stuff done during the days has been affected by that. So we're gonna build Sydney and then call it a night. And there will be time later this month for marathon long streams, especially if we get into some of the games and stuff. I want to figure out what's going on with that error on my computer before I do anything. Any really intensive games. Morrowind should be fine. It's an old game. Alright, where's these other two pieces? I'm trying to see what's going on in this step. Oh, I see where they are. Okay. And here looks like we're going to begin with the ground level landscaping now, as well as some tiling. And this piece, we're just going to build on like this. And there's the nameplate that all the architecture sets have. And then we need one more tile over here. And it looks like we're going to start building up. We're going to start building up sections over here. We're going to start building up the base areas. Looks like this is yet another set where basic standard bricks aren't really a thing much. Let me just look ahead in the instructions real quick. I want to see what... Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we are, in fact, tiling up the base right now. Okay. That's cool. And now we just got to put in a whole bunch of these things. These water tiles. So here we have a little representation of Sydney Harbor going on. And then these last three we'll just drag in because they're a different orientation. And then we need these things. These teeth pieces represent little boats that are sailing on the Sydney Harbor. So now we're back to plates and tiles for the rest of the base area. We're only about 16 minutes in, and actually if you count the splash screen, we're less than 15 minutes in to the actual build, so we're actually making good progress. And in terms of page count, we're already almost halfway through in terms of number of pages. So it looks like Sydney might actually be one of the more simple builds overall. In terms of the cities, I mean, we've had some pretty complicated cities going on in the past, so it'd be nice to have a simple one. Here's another piece we have a lot of in one set, in one step. And then we need tile here and some of these. All right, I would say the base is fully tiled now, pretty much. What's going on in that section? All right, so that's where the Opera House is going to go. So, yeah, that one doesn't look like it gets any floor tiling. So, let me go ahead and merge and save this section like I do. We'll call it base. This is model 21032. And we are saved up, so let us continue. And now we want to work on the bridge area, it looks like. All right. So now we're working on the main section of the bridge, it looks like. So now we're I want to give a little bit of distance so when it comes time to merge it later, I don't grab the base by accident. And then we need some more of these. All right, this is going together pretty efficiently. Okay, now we're supposed to lean these against those posts. It looks like a fairly standard 45 degree. That's what we want. These. And these are the same pieces which, when in translucent colors, are used for lightsaber blades. For lightsaber. Now we get to do a sub-build of the sub-build. So we're going to keep going with working on this bridge structure. And it says we're supposed to take this whole thing and stick it up on the right. Like that, maybe? No, we're not lined up. Let's try there. And now we have to adjust the angles. So we know that this bottom angle rests on top. All right, wow, I want to do these angles as precise as I can. We got to push that down until it throws collision. That one threw collision. So now we're gonna work on this one. 342. These are angles that I don't normally work at. So that's 18 degrees. So we want to take this one down. Shoot, that's not. It's 12 degrees where that was. Let's see. This angle is 342, so that's 18 off the mark. Yeah, if this angle's not precise, that one's not going to be precise. But just so we know where we're going, this angle is supposed to be -34. So knowing that that's the angle that's supposed to be at, we can work on adjusting this angle. We may throw collision here. we're not lining up correctly with that. So that other angle is not correct, in other words. So yeah, this is probably the hardest part of the whole build, is lining up these angles, because I want it to look good. So if I make that, unless this angle is not correct, in which case we can probably bring this down a little more. Let's try. Yeah, that's going to throw a collision with the post. All right, so shoot. Let's take the mulligan. So that's going to be around 320 something. Or 325 maybe. Okay, we want to be on the top of that post. So maybe we want to be at 326. So yeah, let's try 326. And then we raise this one up. I'm not sure. Those bars might not go all the way, but that feels too high looking at these instructions. What if I did... Bear with me, I'm trying to make this bridge look good. So let's see, this angle for right now is at 326. So this angle we want to have at 34-ish, I guess. And then this angle we just got to push into place. We're still not hitting the mark exactly. Yeah, that's still not lining up properly. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to take this half of the bridge and operate it separately. We're going to stick that in there. We know that this section, 180 minus 34, should be that, I think. Yeah, that's what it looks like it does over there, so we're gonna rotate this bit down. We're gonna see what happens if we go to 344. We're gonna rotate this bit up and see if we can get it to interlock. So that's an 18 degree. And that matches up with everything on that side. So I think we're getting close though. So if I put this there, that's going to intersect. Hello?
Yo, what time are you going to be done?
I don't know. I'm about halfway, a little more than halfway done with the build right now.
I mean, I'm trying to play games, yo.
I thought you said you were going to do.
I'm not, what's it called? I'm not going to.
All right, so I'll be up when I finish the model.
How long is that?
Probably less than an hour at this point. This bridge is proving to be the toughest piece.
Bro, you can chill out now. I finally, what's it called?
You know I'm live right now. You don't. I'm.
What's up, y'all? Y'all good? Hope everyone's having a great day. Hope my man's entertaining y'all. Best gaming streamer out. No lies told.
I wouldn't say I'm the best, but.
Really, my man. Hope y'all having a good time in the stream. How many people in the stream?
Right now I'm not sure. But I get a lot of views once the videos go on YouTube. So I get more views on YouTube than I do when I'm actually live. But I put all my episodes up on the YouTube.
Y'all be safe. Hope y'all have a great time.
Let's try this. 162.5. How's the intersection look? Those pieces pretty much line up with each other, not perfectly. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do this. Since the pieces are going to cause collision on the posts anyway, we're going to go up a degree. Is this at the correct degree? Yes. I think. Obviously, if this was real Lego, this is one section that would be a lot easier. We could just eyeball it and it would line up perfectly. That may be one of the reasons why we couldn't get it line up before. Actually, because that was off. So now if I set this to that, and if I set this one, let's try. We're getting close to lining those two sections up now. Maybe another couple degrees. Well, we're almost gripping. We're almost gripping. Let's try another degree. But I think we're pretty much there. Oh, we have to start from this side. Yeah, this is definitely the hardest part of the build. So I think we said 160 something. That's as good as we're gonna be. We got it pretty close to how it's supposed to be. So let's just leave it. Let's not play with it anymore. I know it's got the scapping. Architecture does that sometimes with the minimalist use of pieces. We will call this section bridge. We got to move on. We were doing angles for about 10 minutes there. We wasted a lot of time on those bridge angles. We're actually going to merge it after we attach it because there were some pieces we already put on there. Let's deselect the base though. All right, so Sydney's bridge is now up. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. We're saving. Oh, we're not even done with the bridge yet. All right. This section, we wasted a lot of time, so this section, which has a ×4 on it, we're actually going to treat as a ×4. We're doing the copy paste, even though I don't, this bit is simple enough for me to build it individually just to make up for some lost time. So we'll stick that on. We'll stick these on. And this section, because I didn't realize it was coming up, we'll just call wall. So these pieces we're going to call wall because I didn't know they were happening. We're not going to worry about saving yet because we just saved. So there's our bridge. And we weren't ready to merge up wall just yet. And why do we have collision issues? Something bounced. Something bounced when I ungrouped that. Tell you what we're going to do. We're gonna put those back in. We are going to call this wall, but only when we actually finish the section. And I mean actually finish. All right. Now we just got to put these bits in. on the harbor side of Sydney, it looks like we've done our bridge. Now we can merge those bits. And now we will move on to the Deutsche Bank Tower. I've been thinking about doing a custom, my own creation architecture cities build for my local big city, Baltimore. I think Baltimore has some nice structures in it. But I want to finish the actual city sets before I start doing custom cities. And I had an idea also to do a slightly larger scale Washington Mall, because that's such an iconic area. But again, I want to finish the cities before I do custom architecture builds. Now I need a bunch of these. Okay. So yeah, my nephew was supposed to go to a late night soccer game, but he didn't. So he wants me to come up after stream to play. He's been staying with us the last couple weeks. So yeah, I guess I gotta get ready for a late night game night tonight. But yeah, we gotta finish the model first. I already started that before he got back, so. Okay. All right. So apparently this is the second largest, the second tallest building in the world that has less than 39 floors. That's kind of a weird stat to keep track of, but okay. All right. All right. We're coming along. And we are running the piece count down a lot now, so We probably don't have too much more. We have one more tower and the Opera House to build after this. So we still have quite a bit of stream left. But yeah, we're getting now that we're done. Now that we're done with those awkward bridge angles, we should be able to move through the rest of this pretty quickly. Okay, it looks like that's a pretty standard 45 degree. Or 40, as the case may be. Okay, that part's in place. And now we need we need to line this up. We need to make sure that these tower bits line up. All right, looks good on that side. Now we got to come to the tall side. We got to put these in. So it's long, short, and then long, I think. So long, short, and long. Okay, that works out nicely. The tower went together pretty quickly. I love architecture's attention to detail with how they represent even little details. So Deutsche Bank is ready to go onto the model. And it's already facing the correct way, so all we have to do is merge it. And stick it onto the model. And it's supposed to line up right there. And our Sydney is coming along. We got 2 more structures left to build. Let's do a quick save. We're still under an hour. This is going to be just over an hour, I think, by the time we finish. We've only got about 30 pages of instructions left, which for architecture is pretty quick. This other tower looks like we're building directly onto the unit. I'm okay with that. So now we just got to build up some of these plates. We're supposed to have a second one of these, but I'm not seeing it in the palette, so let's clone that. Sometimes pieces randomly go missing in the palette. Yeah, I have some ideas for Star Wars sets I want to build, but one of them is a long form, so I won't be hitting that one till next weekend. What's up with these missing plates? Let me, I know I need at least 2 more of these, so let me, there we go. So it looks like this section that we're building right now is, I think, supposed to be the base of the tower. That's coming along nicely. And now we start to play with the Technic pieces that they love building towers out of in these cities models. Doesn't look like there's a huge amount of complexity with this tower though, compared to some of the other towers we've seen and in the series and will see before we finish the series. We have 5 cities left to do after this. 2 more American cities, 1 more European city, and 2 more Asian cities. But yeah, Sydney is going together pretty quickly for an international build, for one of the city's builds, I mean. This is pretty quick for a city. Okay, it doesn't like me putting these in here. How much exposure do I need? Tell you what we're going to do. We're not going to fool around with the numbers and stuff. We're gonna turn off collision and just stick it in. That's just lining it up next to. Alright, here's another piece that doesn't want to cooperate, like those bridge pieces before. Let's stick the one in the other end, and then turn off collision so it'll let us finish the tower. Alright, that's on. That took way longer than it should have. because those are pieces that didn't behave correctly. You know, I know they put the bars in for support on these long, thin structures, but it looks like we just cover up the whole thing anyway. Do we actually need the bars? No, they're not going to show up in the render, so why do I even need to have those bars inside? No matter. And then on this end, we're supposed to get a dish. Let's turn off collision so I can line that piece up because it's already a broken alignment in the studio. All right, and now we're supposed to stand the whole thing up. And then we do this thing with the dishes. We're supposed to stack these dish pieces like this. And then line those up with this one. It's good enough. I'll be honest, I appreciate when architects use a little bit of gold highlights. I just don't like when they do over-the-top gold. That's too shiny. But gold highlights looks really cool on architecture, so I do appreciate that. Ooh, we're almost out of pieces here, which is understandable. We only have like one structure left to build after this. And we take this bit, we stick it into the top of the tower here, and boom. Tower's ready to go in the model. All right, let's see. Because we have a base going on, we have to wait till we're on the model to merge it up. So let's come over here. We'll put it on the base, and then we'll select this whole section, and we'll merge the tower. And boom, we've just got one more structure left to build, which is Sydney's most iconic structure, the famous Opera House. Let us begin. All right. Keep progressing. And then we need this. The Opera House is one of the world structures that actually has a full dedicated architecture set as well. I think it's the only one in Australia that has a dedicated architecture set. All right. Wow. And all the remaining pieces now can be seen without scrolling the palette, which means we're almost done here. Literally almost done. But seeing as we're putting hinge bits in, I can tell that we're going to have a bit of angling to do before we can call it a night. Now that the soccer game that my nephew was supposed to go to was canceled, it means that I really can't do a surprise extra build. I tell you before I wasn't, but I was low-key thinking about it. But now we're not going to do that. We're just going to call it a night when we finish this. I still have to render the image, download the video. I don't want to keep them waiting too long, so I want to, let's finish this famous opera house and call it a night. This one I think is, yeah, that one, according to the picture, is supposed to face that way. It's definitely an interesting way that they have to put this together in its minimalist form. Be interesting to see how they do it in the full-on architecture set. Okay, these have to fold down. I like things to be relatively even. We are going to turn off collision for the render just because of the bridge thing there. Alright, so that's an interesting way they put the little opera house's distinctive roof together. I like. I like what they've done here. I'm quickly running out of pieces, though. What's this meant to be? Alright, so this section folds down. It wants to go at the same angle, but I did that incorrectly, obviously. Now, with these sections angled correctly, now it should let me push it into position. Yeah, that's pretty good. There's a gap there, but with architecture minis, it's not that huge a deal. Good enough. It's got the distinctive shape. And we are pretty much there. Let's merge the opera house. And let's stick it onto the model. And I like the representation of those two boats in the harbor. This is one I can show a little bit more head on. That tower isn't terribly tall. Let's pose the render. Yeah, I like how this looks. This is a good finish for tonight. Let me just center that real quick and leave you with the view. We are saved. Now, enjoy this view of Sydney Harbor while I figure out who we're rating tonight. Actually, I may re-angle it for the render just because you can see that gapping there in the bridge. But who am I rating? Let's see, there's a few good people on tonight. Let's rate John Lee. I didn't get to see him last night on May the 4th, and he's a Star Wars guy, so we're rating John Lee music again. He's one of my favorite late night music streamers. Okay, so that was Sydney. We have 5 cities left on this tour. Have a good night. We have. You're making my dreams come true. Listen to this.